Hello, nice to meet you on our today's webinar. Today we'll talking about the most important functionalities in GoFast ECU and STAG, the family of Q products. Yes, this is our main issues for you.
Here we are once again, Marcin and Tomek from the technical support from the AC company. And so, Marcin, we can start, right? Because
okay, the first step, what we should do at the first step. Of course, we need to have a computer with Windows or using mobile applications, so it can be also Android. Today we will focus on Windows settings. So at the first step, what we should do, we should go and install the drivers for USB, and we should also have an application for the settings. And there is two applications. One is for STAG GoFast, and second one is AC STAG. AC STAG application covers all other products, but only not GoFast. To install it on a laptop, we need to go on AC website. What we want to show you the steps, the easiest way, if we show you the screen. If you go on the Windows screen and open whatever kind of we are using product, we are going to ac.com.pl. Then on the main website, we want to show you the screen. So if you have a main website, here is the place when we are choosing the language. If we press the English, everything will be here, of course, in English. Then we need to go to the download section. Download section is the place for all necessary and the most important applications and informations what we need. If we scroll down, let's see the software. It's the first step. In the software we have diagnostic application for old platform STAG 300. Then next is AC STAG with 3 download links. The first it's download the full application.
The first one, the documents.
Sorry, the documents. Yes, sorry, you have right. This is documentations, only documentations. Then is the full application, release date. We are seeing the release date, and the last one is the light version. Light version is the application without documents. It's just much more lighter, means the capacity of the application is lighter. And using the button here on the right side, we choose proper application and just download it. Then, if we scroll down, next is AC Tab application and STAG GoFast Easy. So we have two main applications, AC STAG, and second one STAG 200 Easy.
Just to tell one more thing about the download on our website. If you are looking for specific controller, you have also information in the red color.
Description is on the red.
What this application is connecting to the specific controller that listed on the with the red color just below the name of the application. Right?
Yes, and after the download, you just installing easily. Just confirm the step by step, confirming yes, and then after we are also connected with the laptop. So this is the layout of STAG GoFast application. We want to present the details on first step about this product.
Yes, what I would like to start, according to what I would like to say about the software. Sometimes when we are doing some training about our applications, how they're working, there are two very important things. The first thing is the version of the software, and the second thing is the firmware. There are two different definitions. Okay, when we are talking about the software, the number of the software you have on the left bottom side, right?
Yes.
And the firmware is just beside the software. It is very important because sometimes we are asking you what version of firmware you have installed in the controller.
In the ECU, yeah.
So this is the information just above on the top of the window.
Yes.
Of the
First, the software about application in the Windows. Then the software version in the ECU means that it's just the firmware. Yes, it's parallel information, the same information. After, if we have also installed the USB interface already, it should be after installation visible here on the list. Yes, if we press the button connected, we are opening the window with information about USB or Bluetooth. As you see here, we have Bluetooth on COM, and then we have USB serial port. If we shut off disconnected, as you see, it's disappearing. And we lose connection with here is information about connection. Then again, if we have again connected, we can do it manually, choosing a proper USB connection. And we have status of ECU, serial number of ECU, and the most important thing, the monitor panel on the left. It means that if engine is running, of course, the first step and the proper step is to make briefly main settings. So we can open the settings, and we need to choose, of course, the main components that already installed in the engine. Yes.
Right. We need to put some information, basic information about our installation. So that's why here in that window you can choose between some mechanical parts that are already installed in the car.
So let's follow just briefly, yes, just briefly informations, because we will focus on the most useful, of course. But this is briefly information. First step is just the kind of injectors what is installed in the engine. Right. Then lambda sensor.
It's connected.
Yes, this is a reducer type of the reducer, temperature reducer sensor.
Right.
And the information about what kind of CNG or LPG level sensor, yes, you should choose.
On the right side you have the standard turbo or Valvetronic system. It's depend of the type of the engine that we have our system installed. The second one is the LPG or CNG. It's depend of the type of the gas that is using our installation. Then we have the type of the injections, standard or doubling.
Yes. In case of sequence, it means standard. Or some engines with a full group when you can choose That's doubling. Right. Yes.
Right. And the number of the cylinders. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders.
Then we have a panel with the information about the conditions of switching on the gas in the system. Yes. So the ECU will switch. The parameters will be, so this is like a RPM, when the engine on the red, here we have on the red RPM read it from the engine. So after these conditions are fixed, it means that the RPM, then this is a reducing temperature, right? We have also this is the temperature, the orange one. Then we have the moment of switching cylinder by cylinder. So if we set here the value, like for an example 500 milliseconds, so each cylinder ECU will shut on first cylinder, they will wait 500 milliseconds, switch next, then next 500, and one by one. So this is information. What it's needed for to switch to just you can use it experimentally, yes, in engine. If the length of the cables or some other mechanical issues arriving, so extending or decreasing this time, increasing or decreasing this time, we are using it for just have more smooth switching on from yeah, exactly. And then there is a time if these conditions are already fixed, you can extend to stabilize engine working, so you can extend the time of switch on the injectors. Yes.
Right.
And the last thing is
yes, that you have the for example, if you have the situation that you have new installation, yes, new installation, there is no gas in the pipes. So you can set also the time
refilling the pipes.
Hold the system with the gas, because if you will have the zero value during the auto calibration, engine could turn up,
air in the
shut
pipes.
up. That's right.
Sometimes if there is a small leakage, also we can extend this time to cover the leakage in the system. Yes, if after the switching on the gas, there is some issue with the engine working.
That's right. On the right side, you have the conditions to switching to petrol. So when system will automatically switch to petrol. Yes, the first one is the minimal temperature of the gas. So if the temperature of the gas is dropping down, right here in this
default
option
is zero, as you see.
Then you have the situation that system will change to petrol. The second one is the RPM, the minimum value of the RPM. So when the RPM will drop down to that value, in this example 400 or lower values, system will change automatically to the petrol. And the same situation with this value. This is the maximum RPM. So when the system will reach that value, or will have values more than in this field, system will automatically change to petrol. This is the minimum pressure. So if the real pressure will drop down to that value, or values lower than this value, system will also change to petrol. And the second one is the load of the engine. So here we have 100%. So during the acceleration, when you have the maximum acceleration, system will not switch to petrol. If you will lower down that value, system will switch to petrol after reaching that specific value.
So the next steps, what we're gonna talk is this side of the panel. As you see, this is a voltage from a gas level sensor. So if we have some readings, and these readings after installing the system, we should calibrate the sensor. If we are using one of the sensors from AC products, yes, they are already calibrated. Yes.
Yes, some basic.
Also, the other sensors from the list, if they are specifically the same, as you see, the voltage is calibrated. So if the montage is made properly, there should be no issues to fix it. But sometimes we need to fix this.
You can set it manually if you would like to change the values.
Yes, and as you see here, the source of RPM sensor for GoFast default is a petrol injector pulses. But in the new version of the GoFast that will arrive in the market, here there will be possibility to choose external sensor. It means that we can connect one wire to coil in case there will be some issues with reading the RPM. And RPM sensitivity, if the engine strategy is sometimes a lot of short petrol impulses, it can occur unstable RPM readings. Yes? So during the engine is accelerating, RPM is unstable, we can use this filter, yes, just experimentally to have more stable RPM.
Or sometimes you can have also the situation, especially during the cutoff. Yes, when you are in the strategy of the cutoff, sometimes the RPM can go to zero, to the value 0. As you can see, the minimum value here is 400. So if you have 0 here, system will think that engine
switch
is
off.
working,
Yes, and we switch off the gas supply.
Hot
start option is that this engine, the reducer temperature is over 30. If you start this functionality, system will, after reaching out this sensor, if you not running from petrol, just directly from the gas. We need to accelerate to focus on maybe more complicated functions like this one. In many cases, if you are reaching some jerks after montage, this function is helping to cut off what is the extra injection. Yes, because there is a very often information about these functions is for what. Yes, so maybe we could try to show you using our simulator. We can simulate the petrol strategy. So as you see, this is stable petrol timings. Now is 2.3, yes, for an example, in stable conditions. If during stable conditions, RPM is on idle, or if during driving on constant speed, the petrol timings are also stable. But sometimes you can see very short petrol, like now 0.1 or 0.2, like here. You see on the graph, here in the middle of the graph, then there is a near zero impulse, yes, like 0.2 or 0.3. If this is occurring some jerkings, we can use this function. Just open this graph, choose extra injection cutting, yes, and this threshold we can set manually, yes, and just to prevent jerkings. So this is useful for function in case of jerkings connected with these short impulses of petrol.
Yes, yes. For example, in this example, as you can see, we can say that the strategy of the petrol ECU petrol injection time is dropping down, for example, to 1.1. We can say 1.2, something like
just
this.
Just for a very short time. Yes.
So with this time, gas injector, it is not possible to open the gas injector and inject the amount of the gas.
Yes,
the proper volume of the gas. So in that case, you can feel jerk. If you put value here 1.2, yes, in this
exactly.
In this,
so the gas issue will just, in this case, ignore this impulse. Yes, we will not realize the gas dosage. It is preventing of jerks.
Yes.
Injector heating is functionality if injectors are broken normally, because if this function helps with engine working, it means that this is the end of the life of injectors.
Yes.
So it's just a helping function. Yes, it's not a function that will fix injectors. It's just only helping reach out that there is an issue with injectors.
Yes, and especially according to the dirt. That
yes,
is,
exactly.
That can be inside the injector, and the pistons in the injector cannot work properly because of the dirt after reaching the some.
Yes, so if engine is working not stable on cold conditions, yes, if we switch on this function and it's better. It means that the injectors are dirty or just these high wear in it. So we need to replace it. Pressure release, this function helps in conditions if after cutoff or during cutoff, the gas pressure is going much more higher than normally. It means that the operating pressure is 1 bar. Then if system goes on cutoff and we see 2 or more, 3, then if it's going back from cutoff to petrol injection goes back, but it's still high pressure, this functionality helps you to release this pressure because of very short gas impulses on cutoff will reduce this pressure. So it's also a function to just help to resolve the problem with the reducer. Yes.
Yes, with the reducer you can have also that situation when you are on the cutoff and you want to stop the car, for example, in the red light, and the engine can turn off. Yes, automatically.
Exactly. In case of high pressure. Yes. So if we are observing high pressure on the cutoff, so there will be no petrol impulses. Right. We will release the throttle and see the high pressure. To prevent this high pressure, it's occurring some issues on stalking the engine. To prevent it, we can use this function to reduce the pressure. This is a functionality to just help to cover the problem with the reducer.
Right.
And the last function on this window is a function it's calling a VAG. It's just a shortcut, yes, meaning because the often in the Volkswagen Audi Group engines on cold conditions, there is a kind of issue with high petrol timings.
Yes.
And these high petrol timings, of course, are calculated as high petrol to high gas opening time, longer than 20 or 25 milliseconds on low conditions of the load. just occurring also jerks. So
right.
this strategy,
Lots of
yes,
petrol, lots
exactly.
of gas.
It's a special strategy of petrol issue to hit the catalyst system.
Yes,
but in case of this, this functionality is helping us to just reduce the real gas dosage in the manifold. Yes, so we can choose temperature of working of the system when this functionality is stopping working, the maximum RPM and the maximum gas dosage. Yes,
that's
it's
right.
helping out.
That's right.
Okay, and of course we need to open this window and show you the calibration window. If during auto calibration system having some issues with properly calculate the multiplier line, we can use manually. It means that we can adjust operation pressure, read it from the real gas pressure, and the calibration of the real temperature of reducer. Then we can move using these arrows and moving the multiplier line, as you see, multiplier behavior now. And just if we switch on the gas, then switch off the petrol, switch back to petrol, we should observe no reaction from petrol side ECU. Yes, it means that the petrol timings should be stable. So this is like a manual version of auto calibration, and of course auto calibration manually or automatically is necessary to properly feel and find the gas dosage. So we will fastly switch to AC STAG.
Yes.
And meanwhile, if there is some doubts on it, please ask. I see there is some question now from the customer.
It's a good question when we switch to the Q generation, because
okay, so it's adaptation.
Yes,
okay.
The Yatsa 21 is asking what is the difference between OBD and ESA3 auto adaptation.
So of course in GoFast there is no OBD adaptation. So we will switch to Q generation product.
I will connect the...
Let's do it electronically.
I have one advice. I will change to that PCU.
Yes.
Yes, QMax, and you can tell some...
So do it. Meanwhile, doing the Thomas will switch electronically from GoFast to Q product. I want to show you something new in our range of the products. It's the Electro Valve, new Electro Valve. From yesterday, this product is in offer. This Electro Valve is aluminum body, it's very light. It's integrated with the coil, and it's integrated with the filter of the liquid phase. It's very easy to fit in the set of the Electro Valve. We can find all necessary parts, also with the mounting bracket, with screws and all other things. And this is also will be added to our products related to reducer AC R01, RC R02 with the version without integrated Electro Valve. So you can easily find the details on the website. Also, if you want to ask some questions about this product, please ask using our email that you can see on the screen, or even now if you want to use the chat in YouTube. I think there is no more reason to talk about this, but remember, you will find this product also related to reducers now.
That's right.
Q is ready to run, yes?
Right.
Oh yes, and Thomas just installed the one of the most complicated MPI engine ECU. It's STAG QMax Plus. So also complication, it means it's not the reason because it's something it's complicated from side of how it works. It means that it's very a lot of functionalities is included in this ECU, yes?
Yes, and when we are talking about the queue generation, as you can see, there's more windows according to the STAG 200 easy software
compared
that
to
we
Go
are
Fast,
using.
yeah.
Go Fast, but in general we can say that some specific
Yes, this window as you see on the screen, so we want to present you this
parameters
window, yes?
are similar, right?
Yes, the way of thinking is very close to Go Fast. So we have the screen with the engine parameters, how many cylinders, engine type, yes, source of RPM, camshaft, yes, etc. You also petrol impulse, so it's not necessary to connect it. Then, of course, the multipliers. If we have readings of RPM different than real, so we can use, yes. Then next window related to lambda sensors. Then next is type of the engine strategy, it's standard or Renix. And this is the same sequential or half sequential or just full group. So nothing to discuss about this.
Yes, the gas controller settings
and gas controller
similar
settings.
to Go Fast also. The conditions when engine is switching
what is
to
unique?
gas?
Yes, what is unique
yes,
that we have more functionalities regarding switching conditions. We have also fewer overlapping in case of very long hoses between injectors and manifold. We can help programmably, yes, to prevent jerkings during switching on.
Yes, smoothly switching to
exactly.
gas, right?
What is different regarding Go Fast? We have switching to gas sound. We can shut off or just turn it on this option. Also gas lever drop sound.
And then Atlanta engine.
And the conditions if system goes to gas at unloaded engine, yes. So if we release the throttle, engine will be unloaded. Then additional conditions to switch on smoother.
Right.
This is the same window as in Go Fast. So we have conditions of getting back to petrol.
Right.
There is no questions about this. Yes. Only what is here unique, we have additional compared to Go Fast function, active inactive, the function pressure drop service. It means that if ECU relies pressure drop, he will not close all injectors, but he will close gas injectors one by one. If still we will see that the ECU is seeing that the pressure is still dropping down, he will switch to petrol. But if system will see that after switching 2 or 3 injectors, pressure is rising up, he will wait until the pressure is stabilizing and then go back all injectors.
Can you increase the pressure error delay? No. Delay.
Okay, delay is going
maximum
to
100.
yes, 1/2 second.
Yes,
no.
I will try to simulate down the 0.87. The minimum pressure is 0.87. Okay, let's go with the pressure. We have only 1.5 seconds, right? So maybe. Oh.
Yes, you see that. Oh, it was too long. But overall, the functionality works to extend the range of the one single tank of LPG or CNG. Yes, it's just that we can reach additional 10 to 15% of extending the range on one tank. Then what is a little bit different, because after choosing the injectors, we have a window that we have comparing to Go Fast more functionalities here. Yes, because QMax has handling of banks. It means that the V4, V6 or V8 engines can be handled with 2 banks.
Right. This is important settings when we are talking about the OBD auto adaptation, because if you want to use OBD auto adaptation mode and the engine is, for example, V6 or V8, you need to select which petrol is working on which bank. So this is very important because we have some problems with the installation.
The main issue with the installers and OBD adaptation is that after choosing auto adaptation, just do not forget, please, about setting which injector is on which bank, because there is information from the ECU. If you choose adaptation on, there will be information, choose injector to the bank. But if you forgot this, you will have a problem with the adaptation. So this is like a crucial. Then we have two flow corrections window, when we can correct gas flow per each one of the gas injector. Remember that it's fixing some issues, but it's not the proper way to work with the system, yes?
Especially you cannot use this option when you install the system and you have, for example, the first injector, the length of the pipe of the first injector is 5 centimeters and the second pipe is 35, and you want to
just after this fixation, you will damage the engine after some while. So also better is to not to use it. If you are using, use please values plus, not minus, because if you are starting using minus values like here, yes, it means if you are seeing that the behavior is better, also it's not so good. It's just for testing, let's propose, but not to fixing the issues.
Yes, that's right.
And then sequential, of course, if you have mixed something in your injectors on the engine, so you can just manually fix proper injector to a proper cylinder on the engine. The counter of cycle counts of gas injectors. So this is for just information about how many cycles injector is working, yes, to be reached out. You can reset after replacing the gas injectors. Yes, if you have new injectors, you can just put reset. And related to configuration of the injectors, we have detection of the sequence, so you can start detection on the engine and system will detect the sequence and proper sequence will be chosen automatically. And additional thing, you can accelerate, means change the advanced of gas dosing in the cylinder. This function is useful for 4-cylinder, 3-cylinder, all engines with the problem with the small jerks during going from cutoff to fuel on. You can, especially in Hyundai, especially in some Toyota engines, when after cutoff you press the throttle and feel 2-3 jerks sometimes, yes. So use this functionality, just press the button, it will accelerate automatically, means advance in the sequence of injectors, yes. And at the same time, this cylinder switch over will be to 0 to prevent jerkings during switching the systems from petrol to gas.
Gas, right.
Okay.
And let's go to the advanced settings. We can tell something about the advanced settings. And the last thing...
yes, advanced mode in the Q family products. We have emergency start, async go fast. There is, I should be no questions about how many systems that we can choose automatically manually, yes, choose how many times. Then we have pressure release, async go fast, already told about this. Petrol portion, you can put during system is running on the gas, we can add some portion of the petrol. It will be automatically also shown here on the map. So if you do something there, then as you see here, it will be filled automatically.
Right.
So this is a composition now when we have 2 milliseconds of petrol sprite in the cylinder during driving conditions.
Over
over 1500 RPM, right? And petrol adding time is 1 millisecond, and the result is visible here. Yes.
Yes.
So we don't need to count. We can use this function.
Yes, because normally in this window there is a percentage, right?
Yes. Yes.
The percentage of the injection time. So if you have
50%
of 2 milliseconds, that means 1 millisecond of injection.
Exactly. This will be manual. Of course, we can edit it manually, but if we just don't want to think a lot of spend time on this, yes, exactly. Right. So we can do here this functionality. Then injector heating, the same function as in Go Fast, nothing more. Aux output. So in Q products we have additional output for steer, some external accessories like tap control, fuel pump control, yes, and the polarization of this output 0 12 volt. So it's editable and can be used for imagination of the installer. There is the limit, yes,
Yes,
nothing
yes.
more.
So it's if you want to cut the fuel pump.
Or you can just even use the turn off some lights additional or something,
Yes.
your engine is running or not.
Two
two options additional regarding the cold conditions engine jerk. Yes, this is cold condition, so you can lean on cold engine.
This is
Like in Go Fast,
yes,
similar?
In the Go Fast, this is named VAG. This
As you see,
leaning
yes,
control
exactly.
engine.
And here is called
called
VAC.
VAC.
The function is more automatic. We just need to choose sensitivity and the temperature.
Yes, this
And ECU automatically will
yes,
calculate.
this, sensitivity is the changing of the map.
Map in the
Volume,
manifold,
right.
exactly. And the crucial information that we want to share with you now. The Qmax is issue with fuel pressure. This is like a main problem with Qmax if sometimes using the fuel pressure emulator. This is the issue with emulators that making some problems with these engines with the fuel pressure sensor, and when the system is changing the pressure, you need to use this emulator, and the main issue is connection. There's 99% the problem with not working emulator in the Qmax is that the installers are connecting wrong wire to the petrol pressure steering signal. Yes, because petrol pressure on the sensor about what is the pressure is very simple to find out. Just need to find the pressure sensor. But much more harder is to find the signal of the steering pump, yes, of the fuel pump.
That's why when you are talking, Marcin, about the fuel pressure emulator, just remember that when you go to the help and the documentation, you can find in the Q generation, and when you go to the
Qmax
STAG, yes, Qmax English version. Oh, not it's
manual is outside this folder.
Sorry, manual English, yes. And if you open the English.
Sorry, my fault. Sorry, maybe because I hold control. And you have here the manuals for fuel pressure emulators. And sometimes we are meeting the issue that someone has a Volvo XC, is not finding B47 or B21, for an example. So sometimes there is a rare situation when we can find A71, but B47, not B21 and A71. So sometimes we are finding also the situation that you need to, in your way, check that if real signal from the fuel pressure is A71. Sometimes it's happening. It's not often, but if engine is generating on gas, or be the error related with the fuel pressure sensor or with the high pressure or low pressure, it means that we didn't connect it properly. Yes. That's the way. So sometimes just go on the manual and check this wiring on manual, confirm it's properly, or you can just use B74 and A71. Yes, because there is also sometimes situation when the manufacturer of the car is using combination of different pinout. Yes, combination of different pinouts. So just sometimes very rare, but it's happening. Yes, when the B47 is together with A71. That's the issue with fuel pressure.
Yes, general information you have in our manual.
Yes.
And the last thing about the main functionality is that the Q generation with the plus name, I mean Qbox Plus, Qnext Plus, and the Qmax Plus has also the fuel level emulator integrated. FC and the JC for French cars and the JC Japanese cars. Yes, I just one word according to the Go Fast and the Q generation. Just remember that we already recorded some movies about our controllers. So if you would like to remember or would like to remind some information about our controllers, you can also find out on our YouTube YouTube channel
with the
video
previous materials you can find out
about our
the details
controllers.
on it.
And I think that we can tell something more. We have some minutes until the 7 p.m.
So maybe leave something for fix the batteries in or so 10 minutes. So we have maybe 10 minutes.
Yes, so because very important is thing that we have also the question here about the difference between auto adaptation in Q generation.
Exactly. So I open the window with the auto adaptation is hidden here.
Yes.
And we have in Qbox and the Qnext and the Qmax family products auto adaptation. And briefly, the main information is that auto adaptation on ISA3, ISA3, it's working on the petrol timings.
Yes, you can also go to window and go to the lector OBD reader.
Yes, OBD reader.
Lector is in Spanish language.
Spanish language. So we have two windows.
Yeah.
One is related with OBD readed parameters from petrol ECU. Yes, as you are seeing here, there is a short and long trim read from the petrol ECU, and is directly related with OBD adaptation. But during working on ISA, if it will be enabled, ECU will automatically, as you see here now, he will just taking information about engine temperature and the status of engine work. Right. And then everything is happening related to adaptation is written here. And
map correction.
ISA3 is basing on the petrol timings. So you have map of, but you don't see this map here because it's a hidden map when the Q family product is remembering the petrol mapping. Yes, you have just
PB1.
Here. Yes, this is PB1 information about how it looks like. Yes, but it's around this there is also hidden information about engine temperature, about the lambda value if we choose lambda.
Closed loop or
open loop. So this is like a brief information about how it looks like, the petrol map, and it's like a base of working of ISA3. Then we switch to OBD, and OBD is related with short trim and long trim.
Right.
So the gas ECU is reading these values from the petrol ECU. So depends if mixture is too rich or it's too lean. And the end result of this calculation is here, yes? And our ECU is having a target map. If target is 0, as you see here, there is a 0. We can edit it and put some values here. But default settings is 0. If the gas ECU is reading altogether the short and long trim added here, and the result is 21, but it should be 0. It means at these conditions here, yes, because the target is 0, he will add, as you see here, what is he doing? He's adding the gas dosage 25% more to have end results of correction near to 0.
To 0.
Yes.
That's why you can see on the map that it's changing.
So the main differences are that the ISR3 is basing on petrol timings, OBD is basing on short trim and long trim fuel trims of the petrol opening time, yes? And this is a main difference. It's a little bit more complicated in the settings between ISI and OBD, but in engines when the strategy of short trim and long trim is stable, just the way of working of auto adaptation OBD is more, I think is maybe more advanced, but is more flexible. Yes. Because we have more targets, 2 banks, we have more editable parameters, but it depends on kind of engines. So if someone wants to use this adaptation, I think the installer should put a questions and ask technical support, yes. Because if someone have more experience on site how engine works, what is the strategy of petrol ECU, he will reach this knowledge about this, yes, about this.
Yes, and when we are talking today about the mainly functionality, I think that important information is that when you have the status engine closed loop, that means that all the corrections are working, so the system can gather the information about the injection according to the OBD parameters like STFT and LTFT. But our controller in auto-adaptation of OBD and ESA3 has the option, functionality, about adaptation in open loop. Exactly. It is very important that when the status of the engine is changing from closed loop to open loop, system is not gathering information about the short-term fuel trim and the long-term, but is gathering information from this lambda. So our controller is very safe for the engine because auto-adaptation is working also in the closed loop status of the engine and also in the open loop.
Exactly.
Both in the OBD auto-adaptation mode, and as you can see, there is also auto-adaptation in open loop in ESA3 mode. So how that's the main difference between those two auto-adaptation.
Exactly. So this is related with the question. I see. Do you have another one?
Yes, we can try to answer it. What is the time? 5 minutes, maybe.
5 minutes, okay.
I have problem with the correct indication of the gasoline level. It shows me that gasoline is burning out after installing the LPG system. Can something be done about it?
Okay, so we have a question related to the fuel level emulators.
Yes.
Because in case of this issue, the result is because during drive on gas, petrol ECU strategy is to kind of calculate the petrol consumption and the calculate of the gauge show of the level. I mean that on the gauge the proper level is calculated. It's not the real volume in the tank in this case.
It's not not only the position of the float in the tank, but the system is also counting
from calculations.
Calculation of the opening injection time of the petrol injectors.
So in this case, we need to install the proper fuel level emulator, and we need to just force the petrol ECU to refresh this real petrol level during emulator will force down the petrol ECU to do it. Yes. Without emulator, there is no such a simple solution to reach this problem.
And in general, we have the FC and JC because we found out that that problem occurs especially in the French cars and in Japanese cars. That's why there are two different emulators. And once again, just please read the manual because according to the fuel level emulator, there is also information about the connection. There is a little difference between connection of FC and JC emulator. So it's also important to read our manual carefully.
For this moment, we have information that we need to finish because the time is finishing. In case we missed some questions, of course we will answer these questions on chat or just directly by email to you. Also because this is the last webinar in this year. Next will be just after New Year, so we want to wish you a Happy New Year, and of course also related to some wishes related to countries when our customers have some święta. Wyleciało mi słowo. Excuse me, I just forgot one simple, very important word. Yeah.
Yes, depends of the countries. Yes, in general, we are now talking about the Christmas. Yes,
just the Christmas wishes for you. So again, thank you for your time. And see you in the next webinar. The more details about next webinar on our website ac.com.pl or
on our YouTube channel.
Exactly.
That's right. So thank you once again.
Bye.
Bye.